morning I was approaching the automatic doors at Walmart. There's a little glare on the glass and you can kind of see your reflection, and I look like a criminal. I look so suspicious, y'all. I look like a ninja, like Mortal Kombat from Sub-Zero, or a damn criminal. I had my hood up, I had my sunglasses on, I had my COVID mask, and I looked like I was fixing to rob the store. Honestly, it's crazy how suspicious people look with some of the get-ups that they have. This one that I was wearing this morning was crazy. You can't even really tell how people are greeting you, you know, like a small smile don't even show through the mask. So if you make eye contact with somebody and they're smiling but they're not smiling hard, you won't know. They're just looking at you like they have a blank stare unless they're speaking to you and you can kind of tell, or with body language and stuff. So it's kind of hard to read people like this too, but it's no wonder that there are a lot of suspicious people out there, and they can probably do just about anything they want nowadays with the mask that everybody's on. Yeah, nobody can identify you. You know, he was a guy with a hood on and a mask. Oh, okay, so is everybody else in the wintertime, you know? Anyway, we're gonna react to some stories by Nightmare Files today about suspect people. Make sure to head on over to his channel and subscribe, guys. Hit the notification bell, and if you like reaction videos, make sure to subscribe to my channel as well. Let's get into this animation. We got 4 stories today. The first one is Mall Kidnapping. It's by Dream Eater Animations.
People call me Yaya.
What up, Yaya?
This happened to me when I was a young girl, maybe 7 or 8.
Okay.
It was a Saturday afternoon and my mother and I were at a mall shopping.
All right.
We went from store to store, mostly for me. I was a spoiled kid. We went into a coat store, and I was pretty bored, so I would constantly walk away from my mother to play and stuff, as I did in every other store.
Especially clothing stores.
My mother would always call my name, and I'd go running to her.
Right.
This time, I was playing in a round coat rack. My mother called my name, and I ran out.
Those were the best
I ran right into this
things
older
to
man.
play with.
Then he grabbed me. He grabbed me by my wrist and asked me why I was running.
Whoa.
I told him because I have to get to my mom.
Did you grab him my wrist?
He then told me he could take me to her, but I said no,
Nope.
And he let go.
Right.
It was weird because I saw this man in almost every store he went to, but he never had any bags.
He was following her.
After that store, I had to use the bathroom really bad, so I went while my mother went to the food court.
Freaking predator.
I sat down to use it for maybe a minute when someone else came in.
The man?
The person walked right up to my stall.
In the bathroom?
At this point, I was just looking at the person's shoes.
No cameras.
They were men's shoes.
Oh no.
I was confused of why a man would be in here.
Well.
Before I could look up, the man said, "Hey, Yaya, everything okay in there?
Wow, he knew her name?
I'll come in if you want me to."
Dude.
It was the man from the stores. I looked up, and I could see his eyes peeking through the crack of the door.
What a sicko,
He then
dude.
started shaking the stall. I
Start
began
screaming,
to scream.
baby.
I've never been so afraid in my life. Then 2 women walked into the bathroom, and the man took off. These women took me to my mother and told the police.
Can you imagine?
They found him due to the cameras.
Thank goodness.
I don't know what his intentions were, but the police said he probably would have kidnapped me.
Nail that sucker
Who knows?
under the jail.
From that time on, I would never leave my parents' side while in public.
Under the jail. You hear me? People like that? Oh my gosh. I would lose my mind if it was my kids. Boyfriend's creepy dad.
This story happened about 3 years ago.
Okay.
When I was 16, I had my first boyfriend, Ben, who just so happened to be my next door neighbor.
Girl next
For the
door.
first few months of dating,
Boy next door.
we were going fine.
Right.
Up until I had dinner at Ben's house one evening. His dad, Graham, gave me the creeps.
Oh.
From the first moment I ever met him, he was creepy to me. He shook my hand tightly and had a big grin on his face with his big bulging eyes. At the dinner, I swear Graham never took his eyes off of me at all.
Oh gosh.
Every now and then, I would glance over to see if he was still staring at me, and
That's
of
so
course
creepy,
he was.
dude.
From then on, I spent more time around Ben's house. We would watch movies in his room, play
Right.
video games, or just study homework.
She's 16.
Whenever I was at Ben's house, his dad would always be lingering around. Like he would always burst into the bedroom without knocking, asking things like, "How's everything?" or "I thought I heard you calling me." Basically an excuse to come in. It's
Right.
like he wanted to catch us doing something, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And whenever I would go to the bathroom, of course, he would try and come in, even though the door was locked.
What?
He would knock and say, "Oh, I didn't realize someone was in the bathroom." This creepy stuff went on for a while.
Oh my God.
Maybe about 2 months, but there was just one incident that really scared me.
That would be enough to break
Ben asked
up.
if I can go to the basement and grab a couple of pops. I went down there and looked around in the fridge to see what drinks they had.
Like that 70s show,
Then I heard the
basement in
door
the fridge.
close. It was the basement door.
He came in and closed the door behind
And then his dad
him?
came walking down the steps. He asked me what I was doing down there, and I told him I was just grabbing some pop for myself and Ben.
Right.
I smiled and walked past him and headed up the stairs. I tried to open the basement door.
It was locked?
But it was locked.
Oh my
His dad
God.
locked it behind him. I turned around and said, "Sir, could you help? The door is stuck." He didn't reply. I went back downstairs and I saw his dad with his top off, rolling a can of Sprite on his body, saying, "It's a hot day, isn't it?"
What a creep, dude.
I was extremely uncomfortable. And I asked once more, "Could you open the door because it seems to be stuck?" I didn't say lock because I didn't want him to know I was uncomfortable.
Right.
He said to me, "Here's the key," and placed it on a small table next to him. And then he said, "Come and get it," while smiling with his tongue rubbing against his teeth. I
Ugh!
let out a nervous, awkward laugh as I thought he was joking. He wasn't. I crouched down to grab the key, but just as I did, I could feel his face near mine, and he was smelling my hair.
Oh my God, dude.
I could hear him, really close, breathing in through his nose.
I need to take a cold shower
As soon as I
right
got
now.
the key, I sped, walked up the stairs to open the basement door.
That is so creepy, dude.
I just left at that point, and I went home and cried in my bedroom. I never told anyone this story, and I broke up with Ben shortly after this incident.
Yeah.
We lived there for 2 more years after that, until we moved away. Every now and then, I would see his dad in his garden or something, and he would always give me that same creepy smile like he did in the basement.
Disgusting. Dang, man. People, it drives me crazy. You know, usually it's dads make boys uncomfortable when they go date little girls. You know what I mean? Young girls. I never tried to make any of my daughter's boyfriends feel uncomfortable to a certain point, but I wanted to let them know that I was well aware of the general information that I had about what hormones are like at that age. You know what I mean? Listen, I want y'all behaving. You understand? None of this funny business. That kind of stuff when they leave and come back. I wasn't a creepy dude. You know what I mean? I was just like very matter of fact and direct. I talked to the boys like men, kind of like the dads used to talk to me when I was growing up and dating their daughters and stuff. It was just, you know, you want to see kind of what they made of and just let them know that you know their intentions deep down in your heart. We all have the same genitalia, unfortunately, and it motivates us in bad things. That age, man, Taxi Kidnapping by Dream Eater Animations.
My name is Steph, and I recently went out drinking one night with some of my coworkers to celebrate a promotion.
All right.
At around 2 a.m., I decided to call it a night and phone for a taxi.
Good job.
I got in and I told the guy my address and he started driving.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty drunk after the night out, and I actually passed out in the back seat of the taxi.
Wow.
I'm not sure how long I was out, but when I woke up, I looked out the window and we were driving way out into the countryside. I must have been out for a while to get this far.
I mean,
I said to the driver, "Where are we?" I didn't get a reply. Not even a glance at me through the rearview mirror. That awful feeling of realizing the dangers I was in was dawning on me very quickly. I went to pull out my phone to call the police, and I couldn't find it. In fact, my pockets were empty, along with my bag missing. I moved slowly to open the doors, but they were locked.
He had taken all the stuff
I
out
told
your
the driver
pockets?
to stop, but he didn't answer me. I told him again. He didn't say anything, but he just motioned his finger to his lips, implying that I shut up, while looking through the rearview mirror.
Nope.
At this point, I was
afraid
terrified.
that wouldn't work.
I just sat back in the taxi with tears in my eyes, thinking the worst and what I can do to get out of this situation. The car finally stopped when he pulled into a parking lot next to a river.
With a bunch
There
of
were two
other men.
vans there, and about 4 men standing outside next to the vans.
Oh no.
The taxi driver got out and went to speak to the men. I couldn't hear what they were saying, and what I could hear I didn't understand as it was another language. One of the men then opened the van doors, and I could see about maybe 3 women tied up and gagged crying.
Can you imagine?
I started to tighten my Adidas up because I knew I was going to haul ass when I got the chance.
Yep.
I started breathing very fast, and I could feel my adrenaline kicking in.
Yep.
I kept trying to open and kick the doors, but they wouldn't budge. The men didn't notice this and walked over towards the car. They grabbed me and threw me on the ground. They then dragged me along the ground towards the vans and tried to force me in there with the other girls.
Fight, girl,
I was kicking and screaming, trying to get out of the men's grip. I bit one of them really hard on the hand, and he screamed and let go of me.
Run!
I somehow managed to slip away from the other men and ran straight into the river and started swimming as best as I could to the other side. The men were shouting and getting into their vans, to which I assumed to try and capture me again. But they never did, because I finally made it across the river and started running across the fields to get away as far as I could.
I can't imagine.
And I didn't see or hear these men again. I found help and eventually informed the police of what happened. As far as I know, I never heard anything from that taxi driver, those men, and most importantly, those kidnapped girls.
Wow. I can't even imagine how ridiculously brutal that must have been. Their adrenaline pumping is probably the only thing that saved her, because getting away from somebody that has a grip on your hair like that, can you imagine, man? That is, you know, you're not in shape, you're not a fighter, you're just getting victimized. Oh my God, that's got to be the craziest experience that you could go through right there. And all from a cab, dude. God. Let's go to the 4th story. The creepy ice cream man.
My name is Dave and I'm 28 years old.
What ice cream?
This story happened years ago when I was a kid.
All right, Dave.
One summer, an ice cream van started turning on our street. I don't know how old I was at the time, maybe around 7 or 8.
Yeah.
But when the ice cream van turned up, of course all the kids came out to buy an ice cream.
Right.
I was best friends with a girl named Sally, who was about my age. The ice cream driver was friendly to all the children. A little too friendly, if you know what I mean.
Oh.
Especially to Sally. He would always try to talk to her. For example, ask her how her days have been, what she's doing, stuff like that. Irrelevant questions for a young girl just trying to buy ice cream.
Yeah.
More and more I would see him near our street, or even the area we lived in, like the park we would play at, or near the school playground. And it wasn't even to sell ice creams. He would just be there talking to one of our parents from the street. Just some kind of cover to be close to the children, and especially Sally.
That's weird.
One Saturday afternoon, he came into our street like he usually does with his ice cream van. However, this would be the last time I would see him or his van. I saw Sally walk over towards the van. I was walking to the car with my mother, and at that time, we were getting ready to leave. I asked if I can get an ice cream, and she said no because we have no time. We have to go. The van then drove off. Later that night, Sally was reported missing.
Oh my God.
She hasn't been heard of or seen since. And this was around 20 years ago.
Damn.
What makes it even worse is the ice cream man hasn't been seen also.
Right.
I know in my heart he took my best friend, and only God knows what happened to her.
Jeez, man. You know, all of these were about kidnappings or kids or abductions. It's so scary that there's people out there that just want other people for God knows what. We watched a lot of horror animations about abductions and kidnapping, and you know, I'm scared of a lot of stuff, but I don't feel like I'd ever be the victim of a kidnapping. But the victims, or when you think about it, or us if we have a loved one abducted too. You got to keep yourself safe out there, especially your kids. When I was walking in Walmart today, looking like a thug, like I was, I was shopping in the toy aisles, trying to find my nephew a last-minute gift. I had already had a bunch of them, but I was like, let me see if there's anything good that I forgot. You know what I mean? And they had a bunch of little boys and girls running around the toy section, of course. And there was this one little boy that was just drifting off from his grandma, and he was making the round about to turn, you know, past the end cap on the other aisle. And I heard his grandma calling for him, you know. But if I would have been a predator, I could have I saw that and I didn't even have it on my mind, you know. So people that are walking around trying to target kids for that's the kind of opportunities they waiting for. Gotta keep your eyes on them little ones, man. They got minds of their own. They'll go wherever they want. They not suspicious of anyone. That's where we come in, though. We gotta protect them. Nightmare Files, guys. Make sure to subscribe to them, and another couple videos that are reacted to them from here. Merry Christmas, guys. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off, and we'll see you next time.